and I'm Dwayne Cook with Farmers Wind Board, Board Chairman. I've been there for about 8 years, and looking forward to today's meeting.
Good morning, I'm Trent Sprecher. I'm General Manager with Farmers Wind Co-op. I've been at Farmers Wind in Fredericksburg for 4 years in May.
Good morning, I'm Ken Smith. I'm the 5-star General Manager. I've been at 5-star in April, will be 5 years.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to learn more about the proposed merger of 5-star Co-op and Farmers Wind Co-op. I'm Tom Shoddick. I've been on the board for 12 years and currently serve as chairman. We're looking forward to explaining the board's thoughts regarding the merger and answering your questions today. So thanks for tuning in.
Want to go through the why Farmers Wind 5-star now. Some of the bullet points we have there are merger of equals. We see this as similar sized companies, two similar sized companies going together. They have a similar number of employees. We both have strong balance sheets, and both have had strong financial performance through the years. We feel like we can use the strengths of both companies to provide better service for our members for the future. More strategic investments. By combining, we feel, and we have talked to our common bank, CoBank, that by putting the companies together, we'll provide an even stronger balance sheet for the future. And this will help us to do more strategic investments that make more sense. We won't have duplication of investments, and we'll be smarter when we make these investments. Influence our own future. By combining, we'll have a larger balance sheet, as I talked about. This will allow us to do more and better projects for our members for the future. Standing up to the competition. The competition continues to get bigger and stronger as time goes on. We need to be able to compete for the future, and that's what this is about. This combination, this merger will be for the future and helping us to keep relevant to compete with the competition. And also the opportunity is here today. These great opportunities like this one do not last long. Both board and management feel like this is an opportunity that we need to take advantage of when it presents itself. So the time is now.
Thanks, Trent. I'm going to talk a minute about some of the opportunities in merging. One of the things that's important to both boards, important to both management teams, is maintaining local control. This is a unique opportunity where both corporate offices are in the same county, are just separated by just a little bit more than 12 miles. But maintaining local control is a core principle of a cooperative model. We want to give you that strong voice, and we think this merger continues to do that. When I think about the competition in our area, on my way into New Hampton, I drive by a Nutrien location. Nutrien has 1,000 retail locations across the globe. When I think about an individual that's doing business with Nutrien, there is no local control. There is no local voice. This merger gives our member an opportunity to have that local voice. What's important to you? What's important to your communities? And I know that's important to both boards. It's important to both management teams. This merger is also an opportunity to attract and retain the best people. And really, people make the difference in any business. Having competitive wages, having opportunities. This merger will open up opportunities for individuals. But this also puts us in a position to have competitive wages and strong benefits. As I think about opportunities to strengthen member services, I know many of your operations are growing. The ability to have assets that have speed and space, investments in technology. This merger is about putting us in position to have those right assets, that right technology. It puts us in that stronger position. This merger, in kind of a quick summary, is we believe, our management teams, our boards, our employee teams believe this puts us in a stronger position. Our management teams have really defined many synergy opportunities that we think are significant. We're going to share those with you in our July meetings, and we believe they're real. We believe our leverage We believe our combined business practices, there's some complementary business practices that by combining, we are stronger together. So we are excited about that opportunity, and we're going to share that just a little bit more with you today.
Now, a few thoughts on financial performance. Financially, this is a merger of equals. Both co-ops have strong balance sheets, have similar numbers regarding gross margin, plant, property, and equipment, EBITDA, and member equity. We both have strong earnings and are merging because we want to, not because we need to.
Yeah, our boards have spent probably nearly a year and a half comparing balance sheets, financials. Our bank with CoBank, we both bank there. And others use a tool like EBITDA to do company comparisons and to see how close we are in scope and size, and that's what you'll see up on the screen. Members' equity is also paid out in a very close fashion, so we're very, very similar in that pace also.
One of the things that we hear from some members is the concern of a lack of competition or reduction of competition. For those that have the visual, we've got a competitor map up here. We show the 5-star locations in red. We show the Farmers Win locations in blue, but we also show the competitors. We think our area has some very dense competition, and we think that this merger does not materially affect competition in any significant way. What this map doesn't show, this map just shows the physical assets. We also are seeing an increase in competition, both in grain and agronomy, from online presence of individuals trying to gain relationships, and it doesn't show that increase in competition. But this map shows the density of the competition in our area, and there again, we don't believe that this limits competition in any meaningful way.
The same way on the agronomy side, if you look at this map here, it shows the Farmers Win locations in blue, the 5-star locations in red, and then the competitors in our geography are all the dots there. This does not show farmer dealers, seed dealers, or chemical dealers. If you added those in, we would have a tremendous amount of competitors in the area, and we already do, as you can see on this map. But as we go forward, we need to continue to raise the level of our service for our members. We feel like by combining that will help us accomplish that, and also to provide the needed technology. Technology continually moves at a faster pace. We need to be able to keep up with that technology growth. And then we need to keep our equipment up to date to compete for the future as well. When you look at the combined capacities of the two companies together, I'll go through a few of these and highlight them for you. We have combined capacities by the numbers. This is on the inventory. If you look at the grain storage, the combined capacity for bushels for grain storage is 41 million bushels for the combined company. Liquid fertilizer storage, 72,000 ton. Dry fertilizer storage, 69,000 ton. Have fuel storage of 967,000 ton and feed mill volume of 722,000 ton. What that allows us to do is do a better job of acquiring inventory, being able to store it, use what we use for both companies, be able to put that inventory where it needs to be, and that's a benefit for the members going forward.
Trent kind of shared with you some of our combined capacities and the power that it brings. Our next picture shows what the combined footprints of the two cooperatives put together. Our teams have looked at some synergy opportunities with this geography footprint, the river to the east of us and our rail infrastructure to the west. There's merchandising and trading opportunities. There's routing efficiencies in this. But, Trent, you painted a picture of a very strong combined with the geography. There's significant opportunities that our teams have discovered with this combined footprint.
What does the new planned co-op board look like? The new board will have 12 seats, 6 from each of the existing co-ops. There will be 4 informal districts with 3-year terms, meaning 1 seat from each district will be up for election each year.
Yeah, we believe that this map and the way we've designed this gives us a wide range of board representation, and it's clear across the entire area, as we're heavily concentrated kind of in the middle there, but we're meeting with everyone. So.
What's in it for me? The successes and synergies we found through our due diligence process when we studied both companies together. Price is always a question. We will continue to have better buying ability to buy together by putting the 2 companies together. This will allow us to keep competitive for the future. Also, it's important that we continue to revolve old equity. We want to revolve old equity on a 10-year pattern, and that's what we will plan to do with the new company going forward. And also pay patronage back to our members based on their business they've done with us. Also with people, that's one of the most important things, and I know it's important to each of you. We keep the staff and the employees, take care of them with benefits and compensation that keeps them satisfied and keeps them with our company so that they can serve you, the member, in the future. Also, with the projects, we need to continue to be able to invest in the future. By combining, that gives us the ability to invest in the future, and maybe sometimes we couldn't do on our own. So this is an opportunity that we feel like we can strengthen our company for the future by combining.
Trent talked about some of the opportunities. I'm just going to mention for a minute some of the risks that Trent and I and our respective boards we face, just to give you some of our perspective. One of the challenges that we constantly fight is this increasing cost line. Just for an example, 5 Star's budget this year, operating budget is around $36 million. 2 to 4% increase is going to equate to about $1 million increase. And that's from a host of things, but you know from your operations, those cost lines march higher. Finding $1 million opportunity is getting harder and harder. We certainly will continue to look for growth opportunities. The benefits that Trent mentioned moves the needle in a way we just don't see many other opportunities out that, and these cost lines will continue to get higher. So this merger puts us in a stronger position ahead of the curve in a pretty material way. Another thing that keeps me up at night, Trent, I bet it does for you as well, is that we have a great employee team that's dedicated and caring, but we're at a position, if you look over the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to see significant retirements from our team, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to backfill for those positions. This merger gives us an opportunity to strengthen the bench at a time that we really need it. The talent that we have, our business is just getting more complicated, more complex. The skills that's needed for sales, originations, drivers, managing the business is just getting harder. This combination puts our employees, I think, in a stronger position. And ultimately, by being in that stronger position, we serve the member in a more effective and efficient way. Our business is simply growing. The need for capital, the right type of assets. Here at New Hampton, we just built a new feed mill that cost in excess of $9.5 million. Those types of assets are the assets that we'll need in the future. This merger puts us in a stronger position to build those right assets for our member, and we think that's pretty important.
Once we get to the voting process, what does it look like? The threshold to approve the merger is high. 50% of the Class A members from each co-op need to vote. And of those that cast votes, 2/3 will need to vote yes to approve the merger. The bar is high, so please take the time to understand the why and why now, And then please exercise your right to vote.
In this process, we have chose to send the ballots out with a prepaid postage envelope that's going to go directly to our auditing firm, and they will do the counting and certification. And so we ask that you don't take any of your ballots to your local co-ops or give them to any employees. We'd like to have them sent in for clear verification. And again, please, as a member, as Tom and I are, please use your right to vote.
We're going to transition into question and answer real quick. So, Dwayne, I'm going to kick it off with you. How does this affect our membership?
Well, our membership stays pretty consistent and generally grows each month at our board meetings. I believe that combining our two co-ops will enhance our membership. It'll bring us some new resources and help us to strategically plan where our assets are going to be positioned, and that should help. Eventually, that'll help all members. In the past, and a merger that we've done in the past, as the board members sit there and discern where we ought to place these assets, it's very evident that the management presents what needs to be, and the board, with an open mind, places them as we see fit.
Perfect. Tom, how does this merger benefit both co-ops, and will the members retain their patronage?
Both co-ops bring different strengths to the table. By combining those strengths, the member will benefit. The combined co-op will have opportunities to do things that we alone would not be able to do. We can be stronger together. With the larger trade area, weather and yield risk will be reduced. Both co-ops will utilize better assets and employees and complement each other's strengths. As far as the answer to the second question, all the member equity from both co-ops will be transferred to the new co-op.
Perfect. Trent, right now it seems harder to get a hold of people when you call the office during busy season. Is this going to improve or get worse?
It will improve that's one reason we're looking at the combination. If you look at some of the positions we have, we know we've grown our business, and this leads to our employees being stretched as far as being able to keep up with the business volume we have. We feel like by combining, when we went through the due diligence process, the two teams got together with every department. When they started working together, they realized this is going to allow us to have a little bit of a bench. By combining those departments together, we will have a backup for some of these positions. So I would say this is one of the biggest benefits I see in the merger process.
Thank you. Ken, what is the advantage of merging?
Thanks, Laura. From my perspective, work closely with our employee team, and have got to spend a little bit of time with the Farmers Win employee team. And I can tell you, those employee teams are deeply committed to the success of our producer. When I think about, and they want to win, how do we put our member in a better position? How do we put our employee in a better position? When I think about the advantages of this merger with the synergies, and we think the enhanced income that this brings to us, it gives us the tools for our employee team. It puts the assets for our member in the right position. And these employee teams, and I challenge you to ask your employee teams, ask your board of directors. We are firmly believe that this puts us in a better position than we are today. So we are excited about that opportunity.
Perfect. Tom, how big is big enough?
Well, as time goes on, that seems to be a moving target. But the co-op needs to be big enough to be relevant in the eyes of the buyers, sellers, and employees. It also needs to be big enough to be considered for opportunities that a combined balance sheet will provide, and also big enough to continue to serve member needs with speed, space, and services that they need. We always need to remember that bigger is not better, better is better.
Dwayne, why is the merger necessary? Are one of you in financial trouble?
No. No, that is definitely not the case. I know that's been a rumor in the country, but neither co-op is in financially stress. Both of them are doing well. It just, with some of the graphs that we showed earlier, especially the pie graphs, you could just tell that that we're both co-ops of equals, and if we can make this better, that's our goal. So, thank you.
Perfect. Ken, how will this help a small producer? Or Trent, excuse me.
That's a good question, and I would say this, and we've seen with the experience we've had in the past with mergers, anytime you grow your volume, your size, your buying capacity, that helps the small producer. That higher tide helps all ships and raises it to the point where the small producer benefits right along with the larger producers for the future.
Perfect. So Ken, can the two co-ops generate savings by buying crop inputs and by pooling our purchases together rather than merging?
Yeah, good question, Laura, and it's a fair question. We certainly can have some benefits, by leverage, by pooling our assets, by pooling our buying power together. But what we're not going to get, by not combining our assets, there's some complementary business practices that take place. One of the things is, as we think about our agronomy teams and some of the things they've discovered, 5-Star is a heavier fall crop nutrient apply. Farmer's Win is a heavier spring crop nutrient apply. There is some natural complementary benefits if we can share assets, resources, space, and unless you combine the assets, you really don't get that opportunity. As you think about some of the other teams and some of the benefits they found about routing efficiencies, equipment efficiencies, by not combining the two, you don't really get that piece of it. So yes, we could just pool and leverage together and we would get some benefit from that, but we'd also leave significant dollars on the table by not, putting it together fully.
So Dwayne, will current stock be paid out and new stock issued?
The current stock will be combined in, and so our stock for our Class A and B members will be rolled into the new company at the rate. So we'll have Class A voting members, and then we'll have the Class A, B non-voting members as well. So no, that will not be paid out. It will be rolled into the new company.
All right, Tom, will this merger get retained earnings returned to the members quicker?
Both boards have recognized that paying back dividends in a timely manner is important. All of the equity from both co-ops will be merged and put on a 10-year revolvement in the new co-op. The goal is to stay on that schedule going forward, and we feel that's important to add some co-op loyalty back to our membership.
Ken, are there any disadvantages to this merger that you see now or can foresee in the future?
Good question, Laura, and absolutely. There are risks. When our teams met, we looked at some of those risks, and some of those risks include as your size grows, your process becomes important, and getting that process right so we can account for it. It's also right that, hey, both cultures getting melded together in a way, both cultures have been successful. But when you have a combination, the board of directors has a significant task of how do you get the culture right that as we go forward, we can be successful. But I can tell you, working with our board of directors through this time, and we've had a good time to get to know each other. I know our employee team, I know our board is committed that we are going to get it right. We're going to take care of the member. That is not going to change, but there is some risk. We've got to make sure at the very top level with our board of directors, but I know that commitment is there. I know that commitment is from our management team. It still takes significant time and effort, but I know that commitment is there, and I know that we'll make it happen.
So Tom, speaking of management, who will take the GM position and what will the management team be?
The boards have decided to wait until after a successful vote to determine who the GM will be. After that decision is made, the new general manager will determine both the management team and the structure.
So Trent, how will we handle the differences between location managers and regional managers with the merger?
To kind of go along a little bit with what Tom just said here, you know, a lot of that will be known more after the merger takes place as far as the structure. But we don't see a big change in that. Five Star's been successful with the region managers they have on board, and that's worked very well. Farmers Win's been very successful with having location managers at each location. I don't see that changing, especially in the near future. Down the road, things change over time, and it might evolve, but we will do what's best for the member and how we serve the member, and that's what we're after.
So Dwayne, it seems like your decision has already been made, and you're just waiting for us, the members, to vote yes. Is that true?
Yeah, not exactly. We've spent a lot of time, going over this, which it maybe appears to be that way, but you as the members have elected us to serve as your board. And so it's our duty, I believe, that we look at all of these options, put them together, and when we find something that we believe would be successful, we bring that to you. And so that's about where we're at. And so we're reaching the point where the boards believe that this is the right thing to do. And ultimately, it is really up to the members to voice their opinion here and guide us that way.
Perfect. 10, how would the potential merge of New and Maxfield affect the members of this cooperative?
Yeah, good thought process. Our competition is not slowing down. And you mentioned the largest cooperative in Iowa merging with a very large cooperative that's larger than both Farmers Win and Five Star individually. Our competition is not slowing down. And this merger, we believe, puts us in a better position to compete. And hey, leverage and size, are becoming important to the manufacturer. We could argue, is that right or wrong? But it is the way of the world. And this combination gives us some strength, gives us some opportunity to compete with that type of competition. Like I said, it is not going to slow down.
Trent, will you take the money saved in operations from this merger to be more competitive on crop inputs and grain basis? And also, will the employees who do a great job serving us, the member owners, see an increase in pay and benefits?
That's a great question, and I would say the answer is, with the first part of that question, the money we save, yes, there is significant savings we've identified, and we will go into more detail in that when we get into the July-August timeframe and do our in-person meetings. So those synergies we've identified, financial savings, will be passed on in the form of more competitive inputs, more competitive grain prices, and also to compensate our employees. The employees are the best asset we have in our company. And by combining the two, we'll be able to have a more competitive benefit package for our members, or our employees, and also keep up with wages as we need to. We understand the employees are very important to the membership, and that service is the key thing we want to improve for the future.
Awesome. Dwayne, how do you plan on keeping the cooperative system a viable option for customers?
Well, yeah, that was a tough question, but by combining the co-ops, I believe, and our boards believe, that we'll be financially stronger to be able to help out, placing the assets where they're needed, maintaining good leadership, which is also an ongoing decision that we have to make, keeping our costs down to continue to revolve our patronage. We need our co-op to be a viable option in our communities for the long term. We believe in communities. We believe in the employees and their families that live in those communities, so we want to keep our organization strong that way.
10, what will the benefits be for the outlying locational managers?
Yeah, Laura, as I think about the benefits for the outlying locations, certainly the leverage that we gain is just not, is spread throughout the whole cooperative. So there's benefits. And Trent, you kind of mentioned this, our operating structures probably don't change in those outlying locations, but you gain the benefits that we see from the leverage. You gain the benefits from the combined strength of the organization. Some of the benefits that the outlying location, by combining certain skill positions, I think if you think about our precision agronomy, both cooperatives have relatively small. By combining it, we think there's opportunity to better service our members, and those outlying locations benefit from that.
So Trent, you talked about management styles. Will there still be location managers at most locations?
I say, this question came up several different times. As you can see, that tells me that the employees are one of the most important things to our members, and we want to do what's best for the membership. We will look at, in the areas where we do have location managers, I do not see that changing. In the areas where we have region managers, I don't see that changing either for the future. During the due diligence process, or during this process earlier, Ken and I and Laura made trips around to every location, met with each of the employee groups, and there's a tremendous employee group all over this trade territory. And so that was very encouraging to both Ken and I as we went through that process. We know we have a strong employee base. We just want to continue to keep that and grow that and improve that for the future.
So Tom, touch on spending capital expenditures and spreading those across the territory, please.
Yeah, that's another tough one too, because it seems like the needs seem to outweigh the capital that you have to invest. But as we've done in the past, the board will consider member needs, growth, and return on investment when considering these asset purchases. These decisions are hard, but the member needs are the primary focus of these investments. The good news is both co-ops are in pretty good shape regarding facilities and rolling stock. So those decisions going forward will be continue to be hard for the board, but we'll address them as needed.
Perfect. Ken, do you plan on increasing technical employees?
Laura, I think in this first, year, there's going to be an opportunity for specialization. Today, I'm asking my team, and Trent, you and I've talked that, we're asking our team to wear many different hats. We believe there's opportunities to reposition some of our team to have a much deeper responsibility and not to be as broad. So I wouldn't necessarily call that specialization. I'd call that, specialization rather than technical. But, we're not going to change headcount, but we are going to be reposition some of those, and we think our membership benefits from that.
So Trent, will we see a decline in service if this goes through?
No, the service level will continue to improve and increase in the future, and the reason for that is, well, kind of like Ken talked about a little bit, we'll have a combination. We'll be able to specialize in some areas. We'll be able to add technology that we haven't had in the future. We'll be able to add specialists. We'll be able to have more employees per member, just because we've got a backup and a bench. And those are things we see really for the future. For us to compete, we need to be able to provide that level of service and improve for the future.
Awesome. So since we're on the topic of employees, Ken, what's the plan when we combine the two companies together to identify what's done well and present that to the members?
Yeah, one thing that's encouraging to Trent and I, and he mentioned we spent quite a bit of time with our employee teams, during this, due diligence period, during the time, we've got some tremendous employees. But one of the things, and we found, there are some things that Farmers Win is really doing well. There are some things that 5 Star is really doing well. And we saw both employee teams recognize, hey, you're on to something here. So once we get to that positive merger vote, there are going to be some items that we're going to take advantage of very quickly. Now, the teams also recognize there's some things that it's going to take a little bit of time, and we kind of looked at it in a 3-year process that, hey, what can happen in year 1? What can happen in year 2? What can happen in year 3? But the management teams have got plans laid out. So once that merger is positive, there are going to be many items. Some will be immediate, some will take some longer term capital, some will take, as we think about routing efficiencies, some of that will take time. One of the things I think we're also encouraged about, as our employee teams has time to think about how do we, as we put the pieces of the puzzle together to be more effective for our member, we also anticipate that our employee team will come with ideas and strategies to serve our member more effectively. We don't necessarily have those defined, but we're going to encourage and pull up those ideas. But this merger will be a springboard for those types of opportunities. So yes, we have some that are already defined that will be put into place fairly quickly. We've got some longer term items, but we also anticipate that we're going to see our employee team come up with ideas that are going to benefit our member.
Awesome. So Tom, what's my membership going to look like in the new cooperative?
Well, actually, not a whole lot different than it does today. Regardless of your size, your business is very important to the co-op. If you're a farmer with at-risk production and do business with the co-op, you will be a Class A member. There will also be Class B members, just like there are now. No services will be lost. In fact, additional services are expected to be implemented as soon as day one of the co-op, and more to follow.
So Trent, what effect will this merger have regarding local site management personnel?
During this process, we've identified through the due diligence process, we put the two teams together from every department and looked at how we do things, how we operate. And as Ken talked about a little bit earlier, there's things that Five Star does very well, there's things that Farmers Win does very well. How can we combine those and put those together for the future and become a better company? Also, with these teams working together, they see that it's nice to have someone to bounce ideas off of. With a bigger team, you're able to kind of have that synergy and that, hey, I'm not on an island. I've got someone I can talk to. I've got a lot more ideas. So we feel like by combining this, it's just going to give us an opportunity that we do not have at this point in time.
Ken, what's wrong with the way we are? Why can't we make it on our own? Because every merger past makes me pay more.
You know, Laura, it's an interesting question. We could certainly both stay the way we are. The opportunities, though, that our teams have found, that the boards have found, move the needle in a pretty significant way. And some of business is about position. Can we get in a stronger position? And when you get in that stronger position, you have momentum and growth. And as I think about people, as I think about people that want to do business with us, as I think about employees that want to be with us, growth is important. That a growing company, a growing cooperative attracts people. It attracts customers, it attracts members. Growth is important. And hey, we are in agriculture. We understand how critical growth is. This is an opportunity that is unique, that you have a committed board of directors, you have a committed employee team that want to win. This puts us in that stronger position, and Trent and I have talked about it. There's just so few other opportunities that we see that put our employee, that put our member in this type of position.
Dwayne, I have a question that just got chatted in for you. The new board will be 12 members. How will the new board be chosen? Will all current just be on the new board upon the merge, and then voting on new board at a later date?
We have talked about that pretty significantly, and we're going to choose 6 board members from each board. So we'll have a 12-person board going forward. The board members that aren't chose are asked, and if they desire to, they'll be going on as associate board members, where they'll continue to come in and provide input to the board. They just won't have a voting part of that board. But we want everyone that's been included on both boards to feel the need to continue to make this thing move forward. And as it goes forward, by attrition, board members will run and take positions. So I think it'll be a good thing.
Okay. Trent, will this allow the combined company to compete for the long term, or is another merge likely in a few years?
I think this merger, I know this merger gives us an opportunity to compete for the long term. You know, we try to look 5 to 10 years out when we're doing our board planning. And this is an opportunity, and like Ken said, this moves the needle more than anything else we know of right now. So this is what we're focused on, is trying to get this merger passed and for the benefit of the members. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the future holds for sure. If an opportunity comes along that's as good or better than this one, we will take a look at it. So that's the way, nobody can predict the future, so that's the way we're going to approach this.
Perfect. Dwayne, it seems to be a common question. What's in it for me and my operation?
That is a common question, and believe it or not, it's one that has been in my mind for a long time since this process started. But I'm a producer just like those of you that are out there watching. And so I've tried to keep a very open mind about this process. Is this something that's best for me, for the co-op, for long-term, for my operation, for the co-op? And after a lot of consideration, I truly believe that this is the right thing to do. But I'm asking everyone out there too, that's watching this and comes to our meetings, please come in with an open mind, and make sure that you understand the process and that you take a look at it to see that it'll be a good thing for you also.
Okay. Tom, what's the debt difference between the two cooperatives?
Well, we both bring different strengths, like Ken alluded to earlier. Farmers Win is strong in anhydrous. 5-Star is strong in 32% nitrogen. 5-Star is strong, especially in swine feed with the new mill. Farmers Win is strong in cattle feed. Farmers Win has a very strong cash and carry chemical program. 5-Star also has a very strong agronomy program, of which we're trying to get more cash and carry because that's what the members are demanding. So there's subtle differences between the co-ops that make us different, but by combining the two co-ops, our two strengths will complement each other and bring more service and better service to the members for the future.
Perfect. Trent, I have one that just got chatted into you. Will old customers be forgotten about and replaced with new ones? This has been an issue in the past.
No, we value our old customers, the long-time customers. Those are the ones that built the co-op. We will not forget about those members. We understand that in the future we will get new members to join our company, but we will always value our long-term customers. And one reason we're doing this merger is to provide for those long-term customers so that we can continue to provide the service they want and also continue to revolve old equity, which for those members is very important.
Perfect. The one for all of you, they'd like to hear from each of you why you think they should vote for this merger.
Great question, Laura. I'll start it off. I firmly believe that this puts our member in a stronger position. We've talked about revolving equity, paying patronage, building assets, taking care of our employee team. This does that, and that puts us in a better position to serve our member. That employee team is critical to us. You know, Trent mentioned it. They are our most important asset. This puts us in that stronger position. And I firmly believe that this is beneficial for our member and for our employee.
Right. Dwayne?
I guess I too agree a lot with what Ken just said, and would just add that there's always going to be change, and change is good. Everyone is afraid of change, but change is good. And you look around in other businesses, whether it's international, John Deere, chemical companies, seed companies, they're always changing. And yeah, some of them aren't for the best, but in generally most of them are. And I truly believe that this one's one of those good ones.
Perfect. Tom?
This has been kind of a journey for all of us. It starts out with two people talking, Next thing you know, 2 more people are talking. And every time more people talk, if they continue to be for the idea or the process, it seems to add relevance to it. And the process just kept going and going and going. And all the synergies that have been determined and brought out into the open, we just can't find hardly any disadvantages to doing this merger. So going forward, we see this as a way of propelling our co-op into the future with more opportunity, not less. It's a lot of work for the boards and the employees to take all the time to do the sort of things that mergers require. So we just hope that you as a member will give it the same time to study it and realize that the boards and employee teams have gone through this to hopefully get your vote, because that's the most important part of the process. You know, all this homework we've done ahead of time is important to be able to come to you with this merger possibility, but ultimately it's your decision. So we just hope that you become educated and see things the way we see things, because you are the final people that will talk to us. It started out with one-on-one, and it will end up with potentially 4,000 members voting for this or against this merger. We hope you'll see it in the same light we all have, and will join the group and be in favor of it.
You know, as we've looked at this, we get the question occasionally is how big is too big, or are you getting too big by doing this? My answer would be no. The members continue to grow their operations. We need to be able to be competitive and grow with you, the member. And that's what we're trying, one of the things we will accomplish by putting these companies together. Also, to this due diligence process, we've identified a lot of financial synergies and savings. Those are things that can be used in the future. And we'll go into more detail in those in our summer meetings. But for the member, that's an opportunity to revolve old equity, pay patronage, provide the level of service you want. And those are things that it's easier to do together than it is separately. So we think this is a very positive move for the future.
Being respectful of the time, we are coming up on our hour mark. Thank you to everyone that submitted questions. We did receive over 150 questions, so thank you for that. So if you guys have any final thoughts, if not, we can conclude the meeting.
I would say I just appreciate all the time that patrons, members here that have taken their time this morning, because if you didn't take your time, by taking the time, I should say, you've shown a commitment that you care about the co-op. And that is exactly what we need as board members, to know that you care, and convey that to us so that we can make the right decisions, help you make the right decisions.
As Dwayne said, honestly, this is what drives us all in the boardroom, is to provide the best opportunity for both the co-op and your operations to succeed. So thank you very much for spending time with us this morning to learn more about the merger. Your participation in this process is really important to the process and much appreciated. Over the next few months, more information and answers to your questions and concerns will be addressed. Like Laura said, there was 140 questions, so we're trying to hit those from the 30,000-foot view today, and more answers to follow. So thanks a lot for attending today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in July in person.